And it's not long before we find a resident troop of vervet monkeys.
One of the things that you can do with these primates is by mimicking their facial gestures, you can get a reaction from them.
Okay.
And a lot of what they do is they use their eyes. We suddenly stare like this, open our eyes or blink. What's the response we get? So just don't look at it, don't stare at it now. So when you do stare at it, it suddenly gives it a reaction.
Okay.
And then as it turns out, it'll look like a dummy. You see how it pays attention and blinks back, moves its head.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Craig, often when I'm on the tube in London, you know, even if it's not packed, everyone has their own staring spot. You'll find a spot, you stare at it, but occasionally somebody, they won't mean to, but they'll stare at you and it makes you feel really uncomfortable.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, whether you look away, so that's submissive.
Yeah.
Or if you look back and challenge. That's how it would be at least with monkeys and baboons.
I'll probably look away, find another spot.
And you see how you did that?
Yeah.
So you showed you're vulnerable.
Ah, I
so it's
see.
very, very submissive behaviour to a baboon.
I would turn away. Or a London commuter. Quite interesting though. I mean, is London a good place to find fungi?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think the general consensus back in the day, a few years back, would be it's a city. You know what?
Yeah.
What would you? Don't you find mushrooms in the countryside? Well, the thing is, London's full of gardens, parks, cemeteries, and a lot of them are really old.
Yeah.
Well established, and those are great places to look for fungi. The wonderful thing about fungi is that there's always surprises. Every year's different because of the nuances with the climate, so things behave differently. Habitats change, and therefore the fungi slightly twist and go with it. And there's always surprises. That's what I love about the whole thing about fungi. Is
it's always a little bit different.
It keeps moving, it keeps you on your toes.
Well, who would have thought that we have such a huge range of fungi right here in central London, which supports a huge network of diverse animals and plants and other wildlife?
Allergic reaction to the pollen.
Well, our cameraman's already been stung by one of your bees, but I'm not going to...
That was unfortunate.
Luckily it was only on the hand. Now we do have some bees behind us. We're up against the weather at the moment with the thunder on the go. But just tell us, if we can, just quickly, how do you get a bee to go into a box or a hive or an apiary, whatever it is? How do you tempt it in?
At that point, the weather took a turn for the worst, and it was too dangerous to film outside, so we headed back to the local honeyman's headquarters to continue our interview.
Because a lot of our honey is raw and it has the pollen sediments inside the honey,
I see.
It helps your immune system build up a tolerance when the hay fever season kicks in.
And it's in full swing right now.
Yeah, definitely.
We just tasted some of this honey and it's absolutely gorgeous. But what is a threat to bees at the moment? Because everyone always says the bees are all dying. Is there a threat to bees? Should we be worried?
At the moment, there's two threats. There's two sort of main threats to bees at the moment. So you've got the varroa mites.
Okay.
And you've got the Asian hornet.
Well, keep submitting your Facebook questions. We're going to be looking at many more of those. We've got another one here from Sarah in Chelmsford, and I'll come to you, please, on this one. So how can I stop my one-year-old cat waking me up very early each morning? Sarah in Chelmsford.
Well, this is not an uncommon problem, and I have some sympathy here because my own cat is an absolute terror for doing that. Yeah, she starts to knock things off the side. That's her thing, so knocking glasses off if you ignore her. Yeah, oh yeah, you can't ignore her. So it is quite a common problem, and one-year-old cats, they're pretty active. And again, another example where cats don't follow our schedule. You know, a friend called Gillian, whose cat gets one claw out and then goes under her duvet and pokes her in the toe to wake her up. Yes, they have their techniques.
The
they
little
will get you out
ways.
of bed if they want to. They
Good
will.
alarm clock though, isn't it?
Oh,
But maybe
yeah.
not at 3 in the morning.
I've stood next to the largest land mammals on this planet as they communicated with their eyes, ears, head shakes and mock charges.
That's enough. We just came to see you, young man.
I've seen firsthand their intelligence and intricate herd mentality. Been really moved by the length that they will go to protect their young and defend themselves.
It doesn't look good. She doesn't look good. We just came to see you. Sorry.
My heart has worked overtime as the lions, king of the big cats, have used pronounced facial expressions, vicious growls, tail flicking, and intense stares to convey messages that bore deep into my soul.
No.